All right, I have a really cool student who is serious about learning a couple of blues songs, and one he picked was "You Got to Move," and I learned it from the Stones. The way, and I used to cover it, play it live, and I think we just kind of jammed it out by feel and just sort of went with it. But if we listened to it, a recording, and this is what we came up with maybe last week, and then I'll show you how my student came in to play it yesterday, and then I'll show you how we fixed it. So here's kind of paused there, but he had it memorized. Only problem was, I'll show you how to fix how we fixed it. We really fixed it. So he kind of went. It's common, sort of like a wee, the note went wee. I want to go da 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 da. I want it to go up high enough and hold it there. So this is what my students might do. Well, that's too far, or so it went up and then just sort of came down. So I'm like, all right, that's all cool, but think about like if Jeff Beck was playing it, or Jimmy Page, or a master full guitar player would want to hold that note precisely a whole step. I don't know if I was perfectly in tune there, but so you have to really know what pitch you're going for. It's an F to a G, a whole step. You have to have that pitch in your head. I always tell my students it's like, say like you're looking at a yellow pencil, that's yellow, or you're looking at a square block. Okay, that's a square. Or 1 plus 1 is 2, and G is also a specific thing you can identify. It's not just this wild, shooting blind thing. We're trying to really nail that exact pitch. Yeah. So, usually it's like one, instead of just, usually people go with one finger and it sounds really kind of weak. But if you use 2 fingers, you have more control with, say, like ring and middle. My pointer is kind of laying over the top to make sure the 3rd or 4th strings don't make any sound. So instantly, student was much better. And then we talked about if you want to do the whoa, thing, that also can't be, kind of like a crazy flight of the bumblebee. It's got to be kind of like a warm vocal vibrato, which this is a pretty extreme vibrato. Then, so it's up, up, down, C, and then I think my student was going, or sort of making a attempt at a vibrato, but he wasn't really nailing the pitch. So if you lift that, that's a E flat. We're trying to make it an E. We talked about E is the major third of C. I said, what interval of C is it? And he's like, that's the third. I'm like, great. So E, it's an E. Okay, so dig that sound. Something like that. I did that little, or that's like a E flat going up to an E, then punching that little chord. I mean, that's how I do it. It might be a open tuning or something. G, and then yeah, C, C, B flat, C. Somewhere in there is most of the riff. I'm not saying I'm an expert at it. Main thing is I think we wrote it out pretty close. I don't exactly remember a little bit of that, but I could find out if you want to know. Main thing, I was just trying to get him to control his bends and make them sound more musical. So often with my students, when they bend, it's just kind of like a Wild West, you know. What was that? I'm looking for, and I'll get a lot of kind of out of focus sound. Okay, so try to get a specific pitch, and you know, maybe it's a pitch not in the scale, or it's between pitches. If you want to get like a microtone, hear that micro. Here's a half step, not quite a half step. Kind of out of tune, but kind of mystical and interesting. All right, you get the idea. So again, try to make sure your bends are in tune. If that's what you want to do, I think it's worth dialing that in. All right, thanks.